David?
Next up tonight, Wally, is Jeff Tolcher, who is here to talk about the death penalty. I assume he's against it.
Yeah, now...
That's correct.
That is good.
Now, this gentleman over here, believe it or not, he was a supporter of our former Chief Justice, Rose Byrd.
Hey, Wally, hold on.
Come on, Jeff, you look smarter than that.
Listen, you've got that twisted as usual. I was not a supporter. I believe in some of the things that Rose Byrd stood for, but I did not support her in the past election.
Well, did you vote for her?
No, I did not vote for her, but some of her ideas, like not giving in to special interest groups, I think is a very good idea. Because if you get
But you favored... You went along with her, and you do not believe that we should have the death penalty in the state of California, right?
That is correct, because there are many flaws in the death penalty. First of all, one of the flaws is the court system. Our judicial system in the U.S. stinks. It flat out stinks. These so-called criminals or people who are being on trial for first-degree murders are not getting fair trials. Like, for example, let me give you an example. You say, take a black gentleman from Harlem and put him on trial for a murder, and get 6 white people in the jury, and you can't tell me that those people are going to find him not guilty. There's racism involved, Wally.
Oh, come on.
There is.
You're using that as an argument.
No, there's
obviously, hold on. Don't bring race into this.
It's true,
Obviously,
Wally.
listen. You say that you didn't support Rose Byrd, but you did support her stand on the death penalty.
Exactly.
Now, you are very much in the minority. The people here in the state of California voted overwhelmingly in favor of the death penalty because the majority are not nitwits like you are.
Yeah, let me tell you something, Wally. The majority, hold on. The majority of the people in California are idiots then, if that's what they think.
Oh, no.
If they can't tell the difference between actually killing somebody and letting people go, then they're stupid, Wally. You know.
Hey, the people in the state of California voted overwhelmingly for the death penalty, and then they voted overwhelmingly to toss Rose Byrd out of office because the majority of the people in this state want justice to be done, and justice can only be served if first-degree murderers go to the gas chamber, right?
Hey, Wally, what about the old saying? What about the old saying, Wally, that 2 wrongs don't make a right? Do you believe in that theory?
How about the old saying, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a
that's
tooth?
petty stuff. That's a petty argument, Wally. What about? All right, let me say something. What about rehabilitation for these so-called criminals? What about sending these people to a rehabilitation center and giving them a chance to come back? What about making mistakes, Wally? People make mistakes now. What happens if all right, hold on. What about if a guy who say is poor and he's got to go out and he's got to make money somehow? Now, I'm not condoning him to go out and murder somebody, but the only way for these people to get off the streets, in the Harlem and in Watts, is to go out and try, rob stores. I'm not condoning that. What I think is these people should be helped, not killed.
Oh, sure. Hey, let's give them some nice, comfortable cells with color television and an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
That's not the answer, Wally. That's not the answer.
Hey, the answer is we must have just punishment for these rapists and murderers. Murder is on the increase all over America. Why? Because we're too soft. Here in the state of California, murder is on the increase. And you know why? Because murderers know that they're going to get off. Do you know, the man who shot the mayor of San Francisco was back on the streets in less than 3 years. Is that right?
All right, Wally. Let me make a statement here. All right, now, everybody knows, at least, tell me if you agree with me, the basic philosophy behind the death penalty is to deter criminals from committing crimes. Is that correct?
And to punish.
No, wait, let me finish.
And to punish.
Wait a second. Let me
Don't
finish.
tell me to wait a second.
Hold on a second. Let me finish. You can't interrupt I'm not done with my statement. Now, listen. Now, what you're asking a criminal to do is to think and say, stop before he commits a crime and say, hey, if I go out and shoot somebody, I might get, thrown in the gas chamber. Now, when a criminal commits an act, he is not thinking rationally. He's not thinking about getting caught. No, hold on. without getting caught, Wally.
You
So
are
how can
thinking
you say the
correctly.
death
Hold on.
penalty-
Don't tell me it's not a deterrent. I know damn well
No
that...
way. You're wrong.
Wait till I haven't said it yet. I know damn well that there are many potential murderers. If they knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that they would go to the gas chamber, positively, absolutely, if they committed that murder, that would deter many murderers, wouldn't it?
No. No, it wouldn't.
Jeff, never mind the one-shot, the one-time murderer who maybe does it in passion. You mean you're against even putting to death these butchers? These, no matter how heinous the crime, how many people they kill over how long a period of time?
Well, the thing
that's premeditated.
Well, the thing about it you got to understand is the people like that, David, they're psycho. They have no concept, there's no touch with reality.
I don't care.
Wait a second.
No, they're animals.
I'm talking to David.
I don't care.
I'm talking to you. Well, he asked me.
I don't care.
I'm talking to David. I'm talking to David. Now, wait a second, David. Now, the point I'm trying to bring out is... Well, I'm talking to David.
Car shopping? Looking for a good deal? Campus Ford on the edge of Moreno Valley.
It's my program.
Hey, why don't you treat your guests with some dignity and respect? You don't know what the meaning of those two words are.
Hey, I treat them with respect
You don't
when
treat
they
nobody
deserve
with
it.
respect, Wally. You don't know. You can't even spell the word, much less define it.
Hey, do you know what he really deserves, don't you?
Yeah, to take over the show is what I deserve.
You deserve to be out of here because you don't know what the heck you're talking about.
I'm smarter than you'll ever be, Wally.
Now, let me tell you this. What David was trying to say is, and I agree with him, are you trying to say that no matter how horrifying the crime may be, a la Charles Manson, etc., that these people should not get the death penalty?
What's wrong with rehabilitation of those people? If there's something wrong up here, if there's something wrong up here, what's wrong with correcting the problem?
All right, let me answer that.
Let me say something.
No, I want to answer that. I want to answer that.
Go ahead.
You said, what's wrong with rehabilitation?
Right.
Countless times, and David knows this, I showed him the articles, countless of them. Countless times, they have sent murderers up for rehabilitation, and they say they have been rehabilitated, and they probably would never commit another crime. They put them back into society, and what do? They murder again.
Oh, all right, Wally.
One case in point. One case in point. There was a murderer they sent up for rehabilitation. He had murdered twice. Psychiatrists said they thought he was cured. He went back on the streets after serving only 5 years in jail, and that murderer, in less than 5 days, committed another murder.
All right. Okay, Wally, now what about the people that are actually convicted of the death penalty, that are given the death sentence, that they have already killed, and they go back over the case and find out they were not guilty? You can't bring those people back from the dead. There have been, over the last 100 years, Wally, over the last 100 years, is reported in documents over the last 100 years, Wally, 100 people have been killed, and they found out later were not guilty of those crimes. Do you want that to keep an average of kill one person every year who wasn't guilty of anything? That's what's going to happen.
That so rarely happens. When you get a jury trial and you are found guilty of murder in the first degree, I say, hey, you got to choose one way or the other, and I go with the death sentence. I say, let's take that kind of a chance. I don't want murderers back on the street murdering again. There's no such thing as life in prison with no chance of parole. You can always get a parole. So I am saying this. You've got to have the death penalty. It's the only answer. Not only is it the proper deterrent, but it is the only just punishment. Don't you agree?